watching or listening to On the Waterfront with Coach. I'm Marina Hernandez.
I'm Ed Barreras. They call me Coach on the Waterfront.
Yep, and we're here also today with Buddy. Buddy's on camera.
Hey, what's up?
So this is our show about our life on the waterfront. We highlight different people on the waterfront, different issues, things going on the waterfront.
Right.
So I just also want to say thanks to everybody for watching our previous episodes. We had Ernie out. We had a bonus audio episode, and then we had Johnny DeLiva episode.
Right. Johnny DeLiva will be coming out within another day or so.
By the time people are listening to this, it would have already come out.
Thank you.
The magic of editing.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is also why sometimes I bring up a story and it's a little bit past, maybe 2 weeks past, but that's okay. But we also have like 275 subscribers or something.
Right. With Ernie, it was a big hit.
Well, you had a lot to do with that because you made the porters, the cruise terminal guys get their phones out and subscribe.
Right. When they were out there, and Ernie was giving them the lowdown and everything. I go, okay, everybody, get your phone out right now before we start. Get your phone out, okay? And then I was leading them, to subscribe. So.
So thank you, everybody, for subscribing. We really appreciate it. Buddy, you said we need like 500 subscribers and then something happens?
Yeah, we need 500 subscribers before we can start monetizing on YouTube.
Ooh, yeah.
We're also looking into other forms of monetization just so we can better serve our community, kind of use our platform. So we're also going to be sometime in the future soliciting for sponsors for businesses that serve our community, you know?
Chiropractors.
Chiropractors,
So if you-
medical professionals, restaurants.
Angel,
please.
get ready, Angel.
Yeah.
We're coming for you, weatherman. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously people are listening, watching, and they're longshore workers and people that live nearby, I'm assuming. So, if you want to advertise your business to this audience,
Right.
This is the place to do it. And then, so if we get 500 subscribers, we can start monetizing. I don't know what that means, but YouTube will start giving us some money. So it won't cost you a thing, but it will benefit. Maybe we'll be able to buy ourselves some lunches.
Right. Or get new equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's some upkeep needed.
Right.
Right.
So that's we would put it to good use to just make the podcast higher, the best quality we can for y'all.
I just want to eat. So, okay. So, Buddy, you just took the clerk's test.
Yeah. So I just took the clerking test. I passed. It's clerking and keyboard. Thank you. I did pretty well. Took up quite a bit of time, but again, everyone, check out your portals. Make sure you're not missing any. You're not missing any notices for your tests or anything like that. So I took the test, was there with my group that I lashed with. So it was nice to, it was already fun to see a familiar face or a few of them. So passed the test. My advice is just to catch up on some arithmetic. Addition, multiplication, division, especially multiple digits, which, I'm an engineer, but I do a lot of my work with calculators. So going back to long division and doing it quickly was a little challenging. Even person like me that does a lot of math with spreadsheets.
What's next, buddy? What's the next phase?
Oh, the next phase is UTR and then the physical and general safety. Okay. So I'm waiting for the UTR. Still no word yet on when the UTR is going to happen, but I'm still waiting. I'm checking. I'm very eager to become a casual. So that I'm sticking to it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure.
It'd be fun to have all three of my kids on there, right?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be nice.
That'd be cool. That's an achievement unlocked.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
That's cool.
Get a photo of us all on the dock somewhere.
Right.
That'd be cool. So, Buddy, you also just got back from Mardi Gras.
Oh yeah. I went to New Orleans. I went to Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Took a break, and it's I had a really good time out there. We have a connection to that city. Like my godfather is from New Orleans, I've been there a long time ago, but there's also, I'm not sure people know this. I think this is a cool little history tidbit. But at the Banning Mansion, there is a cast iron fence that looks like corn stalks, squash, and I'm forgetting. It's the three sisters of the agriculture of the Americas. But that cast iron fence only exists in three places. It's at the Banning Mansion, and then in two homes in New Orleans. So I got to see the sister fences at
Oh, that's cool.
in front of very beautiful homes and hotels. So it was I took selfies in front of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's of all things to find out that fact. Like, how did you even come about that fact?
Oh, we were I went to a docent at the Banning Mansion told us that, and we're like, we're going next month. Like, so
okay.
it was a fun fact. So it was fun to see that there. Obviously, we had a lot of fun with food, drinks, having a good time, architecture tours.
Did you come back with a lot of beads?
A lot of beads. A lot of beads. One of the things that I'm stunned by was how quickly the public works of New Orleans.
You were such a nerd, buddy.
No, how
go
quickly
ahead.
they cleaned up Mardi Gras. By the time like people were leaving the bars, the streets were already cleaned because there was a lot of debris left.
They come down with hoses, buddy.
Yeah.
Major hoses.
Yeah, it was a huge operation, and they moved
yeah.
silently. It was insane. I was like, this a few hours ago, this place was covered with plastic beads, and now it's like
Immaculate.
It's perfectly clean. So I was really stunned by that. And then
Such a city engineer guy to be focused on.
Yeah.
Look at how quickly they cleaned up around here.
yeah, and more to that point too, I had the pleasure of going to the New Orleans African American Museum. They were doing a Katrina exhibit because it's been 20 years since Katrina hit.
Shoot.
Yeah, and so they focused on they called it the Katrina List, a handwritten document collected by, I believe his name is Omar Casimir. He collected names of 7,000 people who were displaced at the Superdome from Katrina. And it was honestly just really moving as a civil engineer professional that works in stormwater.
Gotcha. So, thank you, buddy. You know how I really don't watch the news that much.
Right.
The good side is I don't get caught up in a lot of drama, but the bad side is I can find myself inadvertently in a storm. So
Tell us about it.
the other day I go to the hall. I never do research. People look at what ships are coming in. The information is out there for you to pick your job ahead of time.
Right.
I just show up, and whatever my heart kind of feels, that's what I go for. It's a UTR, it's a doc signal, whatever. I usually like to get flex jobs, but I just show up. Well, I'm like, the doc signals, they started dispatching those before the UTRs, and my peg was low, so I got into the line for the doc signal, and I get a ticket, and I'm going to my place, ITS, doc signal, and as I'm walking out, my friend Veronica is like, hey, what'd you get? And I show her. She's like, isn't it going to rain tonight? And I'm like, I did not even consider that it would rain, because that day it wasn't really rainy, so I didn't even consider it would rain. Well, come to 2 a.m., it's pouring rain, pouring. I see I'm under the trans. I'm working with the trans. The beam is going like this, and I'm like, Chris, are you okay up there? He's like, I'm surrounded by glass, but I'm good. And he's still working, still digging cans out.
Wow.
It's pouring rain.
Lightning, thunder?
Lightning, thunder. I'm like, oh, what am I doing here? No. And then I said, man, I give it up to you. You're a hardcore longshore. He said, you're the one down there in the rain. And I said, you know what? You are right. And I'm over here signaling. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I got a good story out of it, but that's my bad for not following the news and for randomly picking a job.
Do more research.
You got an app on your phone that tells you the weather.
Yeah. Do more
I know.
research.
It's
And
pretty accurate
I
to
knew
a
that
couple
was gonna
hours.
happen. It was
Yeah.
gonna come. When you-
unless a lot of people are talking about it, it really is not on my radar. And if they're saying, here's the other thing about the apps, it will say it's raining. Well, does that mean a drizzle for 1 hour, or does that mean a downpour for 3 hours? It just shows the rain cloud. It doesn't tell you the intensity or the longevity
But
of
it
it.
gives you the percentage.
No,
right?
it sure
It-
does.
it says
it sure
50%,
does.
but what is
I
that
gotta,
percent?
I got to show you how to read it.
Yeah.
Read the charts.
Oh.
because it really does tell you
Yeah.
it tells you all that.
It does.
It sure does. Yeah.
I don't know how to read.
Percentage is not the chance of rain. I mean, that is literally what they say. It is chance of rain. But if it says 50% chance of rain, what that means is within that area, 50% will experience rain.
So it will rain, but only on 50%.
It will rain, but 50% of that area will rain. 50%. So if you put Wilmington.
Well, what's the? Oh, well, okay. Oh,
So
okay.
100% rain means the entire area is being hit with rain.
Did you know that?
Yes,
Oh, you did not.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I need to learn how to read a map or a weather chart because I was caught in that downpour. We'll put some video up, but it was, and it was. The yard was still working the whole time we were working. They did shut the gate so trucks weren't coming in.
Right.
But the ship, they shut everything down on the ship.
The wind and everything.
The
yeah.
It was so windy, yeah. And it was, so I took a little break and I went to the tower, and it was like, we're such Californians. In any rain, everybody's like, the commotion of everybody talking about what's going on. It was an interesting night.
Yeah. When it's real windy, there's horns on the cranes and they go off. And if they go off, you have to stop working.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, I think it's either 15 or 20 minutes. Say it stops, and then it starts blowing again. Then you go another 15 or 20 minutes. Every time that thing goes off, you just increase it.
Dad, tell me what you think about this, because that friend Veronica, she went to APL, and so they stopped. She worked against the ship, UTR. So they stopped work, and then they started to do a head count, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then gave the impression they were gonna let people go. It was 2:15. Then they said, never mind, everybody back to work. So then they went back to work. She said everyone was pissed.
At 2:15?
At 2:15.
That's
And they didn't do any moves. She said she texted me at the end of the night, no moves.
and then they want nobody to leave.
They didn't want anyone to leave.
Wow, that's not right. But
That's kind of, I know. What are you going to do about
Yeah.
that? But still, I don't know.
yeah.
Okay, okay, Dad, let's get to the dispatcher because you wanted to share.
I want to share this. Every month we get the Dispatcher, and it's the official newspaper of the International Longshore Warehousemen, and it's got different topics going on. Tacoma named street in honor of ILU President Willie Adams, but in the back you'll always find out transitions, and the transitions are new pensioners, people that just retired. Let's go over this. Local 13 had Manuel Alcerica, Gerald Ansich, that's Jerry Ansich, Rufus Ashley, Antonio Barrios, Edward Borgerie, if I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry, Arturo Diaz, Ruben Garcia, Rose Hale, Timothy Lund, Victor Medina, Donald Richardson, Jay Sheldmeyer, Hugo Terrazas, Alonzo Tutt. That's from Local 13.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Local 63, clerks, Michael Esparza, Patricia Fox, Michael Matic, Paul Montano, Daniel O'Hara, Cheryl Power Robert, Cheryl Power, Robert Rubio, and Adela Villa. That's Local 63.
How many names there do you write? Do you know those people?
Yes,
Dad? You do.
yes, yes. Donnie Richardson, I went to school with him. Local 63, OCU, Office Clerical Union. Edmund Lee, Kathleen Draskovich, Pam Axe, Alicia Valdez, Pokum Long, Rosalinda Alde, Gregory Trublehorn, Patricia Eman, Alvira Velasco, William Tawangan, De Guzman, Debbie Phillips, Barbara Jansen, and Francis Lilly. And my local 94, John Skunka and Doris Spencer. Those are the new people that retired.
Congratulations, you
Yeah,
guys. Put it on.
congratulations.
Yes.
And here, on a sad note, deceased active members. Local 13, Stephen Anthony, Shane Franz, Joseph Gonzalez, Daniel Hernandez. Local 63 clerks, Robert Smith and Guy Spinoza. Those are the deceased active members. And on this same transitions, I'd like to announce that we lost a huge guy, a civil rights leader, that Jesse Jackson passed away a couple days ago, and he was a pro-union man, and he would attend some of our Labor Day parades. As a matter of fact, Buddy and I have a picture of Jesse Jackson hanging in the wall at home.
We'll post it.
Yeah, we'll post that picture.
Yeah.
And incidentally, Jesse Jackson's brother was a longshoreman. His name was Chuck Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bear told me that.
Connections.
Yeah, so he has connections to the union. But Jesse Jackson was Martin Luther King's right-hand man. As a matter of fact, when Martin Luther King was assassinated, Jesse Jackson was there when it
He was there?
He was there when it happened. He was one of, I believe the other guy was Abernathy. Abernathy, Jesse Jackson, and we're on the balcony when when Martin Luther King was killed.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Look at the
Oh,
pictures.
wow.
It's got right, young Jesse Jackson. But God bless you, Jesse Jackson. Rest in peace.
How old was he, Dad?
80. I think he was 83. I think. I'm not sure
Nice,
on that.
long, full life.
Yeah.
But, you know, and our guest, Vivian, someone that spends their life giving back to the community. Like, that just is a connection there.
Right.
And that's so awesome that we have people like that make a lot of sacrifices for the betterment of the community.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I'd like to just mention this is my good friend Frank Baca, Red. He's going to have an operation on Monday. I hope everything goes well.
You're so cute, Dad.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
he's a good friend of mine. He's got a sciatic nerve he's gonna get fixed, and he's gonna come back to work. And
Anybody having any cataracts you want to?
okay, I have my left. Now we're talking about this. I have my left eye cataract, and I can see through the wall now. And on Wednesday, I'm gonna have my right eye done. So I'm gonna have X-ray vision.
Dad, you're so cute.
Yeah.
Red, good luck with your sciatic surgery.
I'll give you a call, Red. I'll give you a call.
Okay, so let's just go to our episode. We'll just do a very quick intro because it's a lovely interview.
She's so awesome. Vivian, I mean, she's so articulate, and she gives back to the community, and she's a mom and a wife, and George, her husband, is a real good friend of mine. I've known George for many years. Vivian was one of my students at Banning, and she's got a lot of information, and she's going to go for a doctorate, right?
Yeah.
And
So we started talking about her family, then we moved into her doctorate program, what she's working on. Then we went into her campaign and the different events that she's had. Mm-hmm. And then we have a surprise between you and Vivian. Mm-hmm. We talked about Banning High School a lot. I really enjoyed that part, talking about Banning High School. I think people are going to enjoy that.
Yeah.
And then we talked about the event that she's going to have this Saturday, March 7th, at Diane Middleton's house, and it's an ILWU event. So it's for us, and to meet different. She's going to have different.
She's had heavy hitters there. I mean, Janice Hahn's going to be there.
You love Janice Hahn, don't you?
Oh, Janice Hahn. I love Janice Hahn. Janice Hahn, her dad was a big politician here.
And she just fell right into his shoes. I loved what she said at the Christmas parade. She just was very articulate, like, we're here for you. I just very support. You feel like supported by her.
Yeah.
So Janice Hahn will be there. So highly encourage ILW to show up, show out for our sister Vivian.
Support her, and she's accepting donations to get her campaign going. And I urge all the longshoremen out there to please open up the checkbook, write a little check for her, and help her out because she's really going to be instrumental in helping the ILW.
Gas on filming. All right.
My name is Vivian, Malauulu, 133397, local 13, Longshore, and I'm so proud to be here.
Welcome back, Vivian.
It's so nice to be back. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, of course. So what's been new? I want to know what's up with your family because last time we spoke, your daughters were playing professional softball. Your son is a quarterback at Bosco, and then your other son's going to college.
That's right. Yeah, we are very blessed. Our kids are doing great. Thank you for asking. Our family's doing great. We have 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. Our oldest daughter is currently playing professional softball in Mexico. My second daughter is a coach. She coaches softball at the college level. So we've really gone full circle.
Yeah.
She's enjoying coaching. She's a great mentor. She's in a really good place. And she also plays professional softball. She just signed another contract with the Atlanta Smoke. So she'll be there this summer. And both girls last year had an opportunity to represent American Samoa. My husband is Samoan. Shout out to George Malauulu, 130703.
George is the man.
Yeah,
George is the man.
He's all right.
At Carson, he was unbelievable. Ambidextrous, and then he went on to Arizona.
Yeah,
I follow him. He's really good.
So the girls played for the American Samoa national softball team last summer, and they competed in the South Pacific mini games, and they won gold.
What?
So our daughters are gold medalists. They won gold
athletes
for the first time ever. American Samoa won gold in the South Pacific mini games, and it was just, I think they're on the path for the Olympics, and my husband has been working really hard to have American Samoa softball be represented in LA 2028, which we know the softball games will be in Oklahoma City, but it's still LA 2028. And we have Coach Samantha Ricketts from Mississippi State, who has been named as the head coach. And they're doing a lot of fundraising. They're getting the word out there to try to get American Samoa in the Olympics for softball. The boys are doing great. Our oldest son is a receiver at Fresno State, and he had a breakout season. He redshirted the year before, and then this year he played, and he couldn't wait. He went from being a relatively big star at Poly High School to redshirting. So it was like, oh man, you go from Friday Night Lights and everybody's screaming your name. He had a 99-yard punt return for a touchdown, and making school history at Poly to sitting on the bench as a redshirt. So this year he had a breakout season at Fresno State. He's loving playing college football on Saturdays. We were in the Snoop game in Arizona, Snoop Ball, and bowl game, and we won, and that was a lot of fun. And let me tell you, that was interesting because my mother and father-in-law, a bunch of our family went down to Arizona. My mother and father-in-law had not been in that stadium since he had his senior game, since his senior night. So when they walked into that stadium, for them, it was what a moment to be in the same stadium where their son had been the quarterback, and they hadn't been there since senior game, right? And here comes Jordan, their grandson. And oh man, we were, crying those tears. Oh, yeah. So Jordan's doing well. We look forward to what he's going to be doing in Fresno.
Did you meet Snoop Dogg?
We didn't, but he was, we didn't meet him. Jordan did. They went in the back. They were in the locker room. But I got to give Snoop props. He was there the entire game. And he wasn't just there. He was present. He was engaging with the fans, with the band. He went out and was the band conductor at halftime. He came out in one of his convertibles. He wrote. I got really close to him when he went on a bus. In fact, I take millions of pictures and videos. I never post anything. But I have this one video where Snoop looks right at me because my son played at Poly and we live in Long Beach. So when Snoop was riding in his bus coming in, I yelled at him and I said, Snoop, Long Beach Poly, you know, my son played at Poly. And he looked at me, I have it on camera, he goes, Long Beach, baby. He's just such a great sport.
Oh yeah, we went to a basketball game and Snoop was there and he was coming up the stairs there and I said, hey Snoop, Long Beach Poly. And he says, what's up?
Yeah.
And I said, my son's one of your favorite fans. You know, would you please meet him? And he shook his hand and everything. Really, really a nice guy.
Yeah, Snoop has an incredible stage presence, and you know, his presence and his personality. And that game, you know, there was a time when we didn't see him, right? So we see him at the pregame, we see him at the beginning, we see him, you know, during the game, we see him at halftime, and then for a minute we didn't see him anymore. So we were thinking, oh, he's gone. He's on his jet. He took off, and then he shows up in the fourth quarter, and he's, you know. He probably took a break.
Right.
He shows up in the fourth quarter. He's walking around the field, and then at the post game, he presented the winning team, Fresno State. He presented them with, you know, a trophy and a medal and a chain, and we're like, you know, he was there.
That's cool.
You know, so it was a great experience. And then our youngest boy, our baby, he's the quarterback at Bosco, and this week he brought home his third 1, 2, 3 honor roll 4.0 certificate.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
You know, he's a 10th grader, and he got honor roll fall semester of the 9th grade, honor roll second semester of 9th grade, and then he got honor roll first semester 10th grade, and he brought the certificate home. And I told him, and he knows, I said, look, all those touchdowns and all that, he's getting all this press for being the number one, you know, quarterback, and he has a lot of offers. Thank God, praise God for that. But it's that honor roll that I put on the refrigerator.
That's right.
You know, that's the picture I took and I sent around in the family group chat. And I said, this kid is doing it. And he cleans his room. You know, Koa is a very special kid. And all of my kids are special. All of my kids are special. You know, George and I have been blessed. But Koa doesn't need to be told to take out the trash. He washes dishes that he didn't even make. He feeds the dogs. He has friends in the neighborhood, and they text each other and they go walk the dog. And every now and then I have to fuss at him for something, but he's just been a very easy kid to raise. And by comparison, you know, I always joke that our oldest daughter and our oldest son, Chloe and Jordan, are cut from the same cloth. You know, it was always something, you know, as a parent, you're like, what now? And then Tessa and Koa, cut from the same cloth, very mellow. But Koa, I think he learned from the mistakes of his older siblings. And he's like, that's not going to be me.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just going to chill, let mom and dad relax on this one. And so we're excited about his junior season.
Yeah.
We're excited. Bosco has an outstanding football program, and we're very excited about the future. And we tell our kids, keep your head down and work hard. Be the hardest worker. Don't let anybody outwork you. So anyway, thank you for asking.
Yes.
You
Thank
know,
you for sharing.
You know,
Yes.
we're
Thank you for
very,
sharing
very
those details
blessed
about
and
your
very
life.
grateful.
Yeah, thank you. And then you just mentioned earlier that you're running for city council, Long Beach City Council, and you're also completing your dissertation.
Finally.
So let's talk about that.
We gotta put that finally in there, because my doctorate has been a lifelong goal of mine for many years. I knew when I was, you know, in elementary school I was going to get a doctorate, and I'm scheduled to defend my dissertation at the end of March. And my dissertation, my research is on collaborative workforce development in the age of artificial intelligence and automation, with a case study on the longshore industry, the Port of Long Beach. Ultimately, what I want to develop is just this replicable blueprint that other unions can use, so that they can go to community colleges in their area and say, hey, Rio Hondo, hey, Mount Sac, hey, El Camino, you know, Orange Coast College, we want to have training for our industry as carpenters, as electricians, as painters, just like the longshore industry has this partnership with the Port of Long Beach and Long Beach City College. So really, that was my intention, is to develop a blueprint that can benefit all workers. Because I do believe that an injury to one is an injury to all. And I do believe that workers need to work together. We have a collective responsibility to protect and preserve jobs. And unless we step up, and I don't mean we as Longshore, I mean we as individuals, we as workers, unless we come together, you know, I don't want to stand by and watch another industry suffer and watch other people be out of a job while we get fat, while we eat, while we get paid. No, I want to make sure that everybody has a right to have that American dream and live the American dream and be able to have, you know, own a home and send their kids to college and have their kids play travel ball and, you know, all those things that make up the fabric of a great community, which is, you know, a great segue into, you know, my what I'm doing, trying to help and build my community.
Definitely. Well, let's get into that. And I wanted to start by reading, because one of my favorite things about your campaign, you've done a lot of cool events, and I shared that with you, and I was able to go attend one. I wish I could have attended all of them, and I want to get into each one and what you learned and what that's been like for you. But let me tell you, and I hope it's okay that I read this, but it's the emails that you send out. Of all things, like, I love, my favorite part of your campaign are the emails.
I've heard that from quite a few people. We get a lot of responses to emails. We've got almost 4,000 people who have signed up to receive the campaign emails. And we get a lot of responses. Every time we send out an email, you know, we expect that there's going to be 3 or 4, sometimes a lot more, but people respond to the emails. So it's good.
Yeah. So this is from your son, Jordan. So it says, Dad, I'm going to read it to you. It says, and then I'll interject my why I love these emails so much. It says, my name is Jordan Malauulu.
Very good.
And I'm Vivian's oldest son. Today is my birthday. I'm finally 21. So you can relate to that right away.
Yeah,
Finally.
Right. Finally.
Growing up, I was probably the most challenging out of the 4 of us, which Vivian attests.
When I read that, and by the way, you know, sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
They all write, you know, when I tell them, I say, hey, you know, would you like to write an email? Yeah, I have them write the email. There have been a couple times where I had to, you know, maybe finesse a little bit, but for the most part, that's his language. And I was like, you're being generous saying you were the most challenging. I would have probably used a stronger word, but okay.
Well, I mean, he gets into it. My parents were used to my 2 older sisters being the good ones. And then there was me, always pushing the limits, getting into stuff, and definitely keeping them on their toes. There are plenty of stories about the stunts I pulled, and I know I stressed my parents out more than a few times. So right there, I love that, because it's his personality is coming out, I feel, even just those few sentences. It seems like I was always in trouble and grounded. Like, this is an email that's going out for her campaign.
Right.
He did write that.
Right.
He did write that.
I love it. But looking back now, honestly, I'm really grateful that they ran a tight ship, especially my mom. Okay, so then this is where I'm like, okay, because I'm a mom, so I'm like, okay, I can start to relate to this. She didn't play when it came to school. Grades mattered, which obviously. Homework had to be done, no excuses. After school, she'd pick me up, take me to the Bret Hart Library on Willow, which I love because that's in your community.
Oh, yeah.
He's pulling something that you do. We go to the Ruth Bach Library. I take my kids there all the time. So to me, I'm like, this could be Fern or Luna writing this email. We do homework, check out books, and sometimes join whatever activities they had going on. Then it was straight to Silverado Park for baseball when I was playing in West Long Beach Little League. So a connection to the community already. This tells me you know your community. You've been involved through your children in your community. I know how that feels because that's how I am in East Long Beach.
Yep.
I was part of the board for the East Long Beach Little League. So I'm like, I can relate to this. He's talking about someone that I can relate to. You are a mom. You are a woman that I'm like, okay, this is me, pretty much. Our days had a rhythm. School, practice, homework, dinner, chores, reading every day. At the time, it probably felt strict, but now I realize that consistency is what taught me discipline. It's what helped me stay focused, set goals, and handle my business. What I understand more now is how my mom was What I understand even more now is how much my mom was doing behind the scenes. She worked nights on the docks and still showed up every day for everything during the day. School, practices, field trips, everything we needed. Honestly, I don't know when she slept. I'm reading this and I'm on the other thing signing up for Luna to take her for her band. Luna's going to she plays band at her middle school. I signed up to chaperone at their event. So
I
I'm
was a
like
band mom.
I'm like this like yes. On top of that, she was always giving back. I remember going with her to volunteer, sitting in on meetings, watching her serve on boards like the YMCA. I didn't fully get it back then, but I could see how much she cared about our community and about helping people. That stuck with me. Me taking Luna and Fern to all these events, like, you know, and them
You guys
sitting
could be
there.
sisters.
I'm like,
Right?
this. So I'm just feeling like, I mean, it goes on and on like that. And I'm like, this is a woman that I would vote for because this is me. She will represent me as a mom. I'm just like, yes, yes. Oh, that's what I love about those emails. It makes you you didn't write it. You didn't tell me what you did. Your son, it was very relatable. And I love that about your
Thank
campaign
you.
so far. Yes.
Thank you. You want to hear something crazy? You and I, that's the story of hundreds of women. Not just
Yes.
women in the 7th district or just in Long Beach, but how many moms across LA, California, the country hold it down?
Yep.
How many moms are out there? They work full time. They got kids in school, kids in activities, kids in sports. I mean, how many things do you wish you could do on a Saturday? But you're sitting on a field. How many moms do that for their kids? So it's important that we support each other, that we have a network, that we build, we build each other up, and we have to recognize the amount of effort that we pour into our kids. We pour these time commitments and these sacrifices into our children.
Right. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
100%.
So some of the other things then, what are some of the other events that have been on your campaign trail?
Well, we've had a great time on this campaign. Well, I have. I hope I'm not speaking for other people when I say that. I'm taking some liberties there, but we get a lot of positive feedback from our events. And I remember in 2015 when I first made the decision to run for college board, and everyone was saying you need to have fundraisers, and I remember thinking, and then what? Well, you just have a fundraiser, people give you money. And I'm going, they just show up and give you money? And they're like, yeah, that's what a fund. And I'm like, and they don't do anything? No. And they don't get anything? No. And they just walk in. And I was thinking, like, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to go somewhere and just write a check. Like, I wouldn't want that. And when I ran for college board, I only had 5 fundraisers. And in those 5 fundraisers, I made sure that each one had a unique experience for my supporters. And the most popular fundraiser that I had in 2015 was a Christmas Lights holiday boat tour that I organized in the Port of Long Beach, where, we were expecting 50 people. We had 150 people who showed up and with their families and went out to look at the Christmas lights, and they took pictures. And people were like, this is the best fundraiser I've ever attended. I've never been to a political fundraiser. I didn't know that you could do this. So when I planned out my campaign for city council, I'm very grateful because I have a lot of people who have stepped up to say, let me help you. How can I help you? So that really makes a difference too. It's not just me. It's a big, broad community. So I've been able to create opportunities for my supporters that are very unique thanks to community partners. So for example, the one you attended, we had a pizza making on President's Day. It was Democracy in Dough. And it was neat because, she brought a baseball team, and it was like a team building experience, and they made their own pizzas, and the boys are flipping the dough in the air.
We took Ryder. It was,
Yeah.
it was really fun.
And then I did like a presidential trivia where I asked questions, and then they got prizes.
Surprisingly, Fern is very good at presidential
Good.
trivia. She was like, how does he know? I'm like,
Yeah.
he blew me away. I did not know
He won a lot of cookies. The prizes were cookies.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think that was it. That was the incentive.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, I'm going to get me
And
some
those cookies are good.
They were.
Shout out to 5,000 Pies on the west side. The pizza's delicious. The cookies are delicious.
Yes.
We've had other fundraisers. We partnered with my dear friend, Banning High School alumni, Tanisha Anderson. Her father is Kelvin Anderson, who owns VIP Records. He's a founder. And Tanisha reached out to me and said, Viv, how can we help? She says, you've always been there for us with Long Beach City College and providing opportunities. And I said, let's do a fundraiser. So we had an event where people got to go into their recording studio and record a song, a rap, whatever they wanted. And if they didn't come prepared, they sat with a producer and wrote a song or a rap. And then they had the headphones, they were in the recording studio. And I've had people say, can you do that again? I want to bring my nephews, I want to bring my cousins. We have a group song we want to do. So these are unique experiences that engage people in the political process and help them participate in the community and support a small business. And then they're helping my campaign.
Right.
Because they're bringing people. So we've had a lot. I've been asked, which one is your favorite? And I've had Latinas for Vivian, educators for Vivian. I've had different events, really unique events. And I have to admit, my favorite was the Banning High School alumni. That was the best fundraiser we had. We ended up having a stand-up comedian that night.
Before we get to it,
Okay.
we need to get suited for this. Ready? We are back.
We're back.
Suited
I
and
love
booted.
it.
Yes.
B-House.
Yes. Okay, Dad, tell us about your.
Okay, this championship jacket, there's only 4 people that have it because it's 6 in a row. We won 6 city championships in a row. And Ferragamo, the head coach, Joe Dominguez, myself, and Rocky Garabee. And this is one that we're really proud of. All 4 of us are really proud of this jacket.
And it still fits you.
It
after
still
all
fits,
these years.
too.
Move over a little bit so we can see. There we go. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
There it
mean,
is.
this script, Coach Barrera's, it's
I think I've only worn this thing maybe 3 or 4 times. I've got 6 of them at home.
so nice that it fits you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's classic. It's elegant. It's got that authentic vintage Banning look.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it, too.
Totally. I know. I might want to wear that.
I'm going to give it to Fernie.
You are.
Aw.
And then Vivian, all
Look at-
these pins. Tell me what-
I got my Letterman jacket from drill team. My days on the drill team, and that was I've had a lot of events, and the events have been great, and the response has been great. The support has been incredible, overwhelming. But I have to say that my favorite was the Banning High School alumni, and I'll tell you why it was my favorite. We had folks there going back to who had graduated in the 50s. And that was very special.
Yes.
So we had graduates from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, all the way to the most recent, which I believe was 2022. And folks who couldn't make it, who understand the importance of having the support and the Banning alumni, who made a contribution saying, look, Viv, I can't be there, but I'm happy to support you. And they made a contribution online. That was the power of the alumni network. That was the power of that pilot pride.
Right.
I'm very grateful. It was held at Patricia Aguirre's house. She also lives in Long Beach. And we had a DJ, we had food. Patricia's mom created a beautiful spread. And we had a stand-up comedian that was, unbeknownst to me that he was a comedian, and he did a set for us. And the guest of honor was Mr. James Woodson. Woody showed up and he played the saxophone, and he got all of the drill team and cheer alumni at Patricia's house in the backyard, and they did a routine, and it was hilarious because we're older, right? And we're not in the same shape that we were when we were in high school, and we hadn't rehearsed, and it was very spontaneous, but it was so much fun. And we had a lot of notable alumni, including Long Beach Council District 8 councilwoman, Tanua Thrash Untuck, who was the student body president after me. I graduated from Banning in 1992, and Tanua graduated in 1993. I was ASB president, and she was ASB president. And we used to have a leadership assembly at the end of the year where the outgoing student body president would light the candle of the incoming student body president. So I always joke with Tanua, and I say, I literally lit your candle. Literally lit your candle, because she held up the new candle, and I, lit the candle, so that was the passing of the torch in leadership. And now she is the 8th District Councilwoman. Incidentally, Tanua is married to Uduak Joe Untuck, who is my colleague on the board. Uduak and I both sit on the Long Beach Community College District Board of Trustees. And, it's a full circle moment to have Tanua on the city council. She was one of the special guests at my event as an alumni and as an elected official in Long Beach. And it was neat because Tanua got to reconnect with some alumni that she hadn't seen in a while as a result of this fundraiser. So it was a lot of fun.
How cool. Yeah, I love that.
Getting back to Woody Woodson, what an awesome guy.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
incredible.
He started at Banning in 1976.
Wow.
1976, our first year, they won a city championship. Our band wasn't very good, but when he came in there, I mean, it blew up. And I think he came from Crenshaw High School, and then he came to Banning, so he's been there many, many years. Yeah, he's got jackets like this too.
Yeah,
that-
he's amazing. I saw him. I was at the 100th anniversary a few weeks ago. I think it was like January 31st. They had an event. It was the 100th anniversary Banning High School. And I was there. They did a ribbon cutting of the outdoor stage. We were on the football field, and Woody was there. And, he's sharp. He's lucid. He remembers things. He remembers people. He calls me Jackie. So my government name is Vivian Jacqueline. And a lot of people call me Jackie when I was a kid growing up. Everybody would be like, so now you hear people say Vivian, Jackie, and Woody calls me Jackie. So when he sees me that day, he goes, hey, Jackie. He goes, how's the campaign? And I was like, the fact that he remembers that, the fact that Mr. James Woodson is still sharp and remembers that, there's a campaign, I was blown away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my dad and I hosted the Wilmington Parade just this past Christmas, and he was the guest of honor.
Right.
Is that right? Yeah, so when he came by, we were shouting him out so hard. We're like, Woody!
Yeah.
And if there was a mic that could be extended, my dad wanted to go interview.
Go
We just
interview
didn't
him.
have it, but he was like, oh, we need to talk to.
And he's still sharp.
You ended up talking to him, but it wasn't on the mic.
Yeah, I went over there, and he was with Hope Mendoza.
Yeah.
And Rudy.
Yep.
And
They
Woody.
were at the event.
Yeah,
Hope
Woody's
and
sharp.
Rudy. Rudy went and picked up Mr. Woodson the night of the event and brought him to the fundraiser. It was back in October.
They're real close.
Yeah.
Yeah, real close.
Yeah. Do you have any other, now that we're talking about Banning, any other memories about something related to the jacket?
I like to.
Go ahead.
I like to get a podcast going. I saw this one rivalry, Banning Carson rivalry, and I thought about it. I said, I'm going to get Joe Ferragamo, myself, and some players, and get a podcast going. Well, it's still fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened minutes ago, but I know what happened back.
He said those are his glory days.
Those are so memorable. I mean,
All of us. I feel so fortunate to have grown up in that era. I watched the podcast. You sent me the link.
I did.
But I'd already seen that
Okay.
podcast. It's the Banning Carson rivalry.
Right.
And watching that was very nostalgic for me because I grew up in Carson. I grew up in the Del Amo neighborhood of Carson, which is split down the middle by Central. And for the most part, there are some exceptions with the streets that run on the outside, but for the most part, if you lived on the west side of Central, you went to Carson. If you lived on the east side of Central, you went to Banning. So I lived on the east side. Shout out to Tejada and Termont, all right, THB. So I grew up on the side that went to Banning, and I went to Curtis Junior High School for 1 year. We used to call it junior high. It's not middle school for us.
Yeah,
it was junior high.
Junior high.
So I went to Broadacres Elementary School in DA, and then I went to Curtis Junior High in the 7th grade. I was on the waiting list in the Magnet for Dotson Junior High. And then when I got accepted in the Magnet, I rode the Carson bus into Pedro for the 8th and 9th grade. So I went to Dotson, the second half. But I have this one distinct memory, this core memory of being at Curtis Junior High School in the girls' locker room after PE on a Friday of the Banning Carson game in the 7th grade. And I remember the girls, this is the girls' locker room, were shouting back and forth, Banning Carson, Banning Carson. And I remember as a 7th grader, right? If I'd been in the 8th or 9th, I had that upperclassman experience. But as a 7th grader, I didn't have that experience because I'm coming right from, elementary school. And the game is probably in October, so I'd only been in junior high a month or so. I'd only had a locker room experience for a month. And seeing these girls yelling back and forth, Banning Carson, I have never forgotten that memory. And it has stayed with me all these years because that's how intense it was for middle school girls to be in the locker room shouting, Banning Carson. It was like, whoa. And then after that, wherever you went, where you were at the Carson Mall or you were at Taco Bell, or I remember once my mom and I were at Pollo Loco on Carson Street and Main Street. And I remember these kids, Banning Carson at Pollo Loco. So this is the experience that I grew up in with some greats, football greats, and that podcast. I can't remember who it was that was being interviewed, but he said something that really resonated with me because, gosh, I wish I could remember his name. But he said, you had this incredible football player at Crenshaw, this incredible football player at Dorsey, this incredible football player at Manual Arts. Like he's naming, like there's one guy that stands out. He goes, but Banning and Carson, the whole roster.
Right.
And I listened to him and I was like, he's right. He's right. I grew up on Tejada and I had football players on my street. There was Lewis Evans. There were the Lockley boys up the street, the twins. Like these guys, the Eloy family, like these guys on my street had a roster. Right? They were different ages, different grades. Lewis Evans was on that 1985 championship team. He graduated from Banning in 86. He lived across the street from me. He was my play brother, and he wore that championship jacket every day into his 20s.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when the 280ZXs first came out, he used to have a Nissan, the flatbed truck Nissan. He had a Nissan, then he went and got a 280, and he'd still be driving around the neighborhood in his 20s with a Banning jacket. Right? Those glory days. It's nice to see the kids now, and I love going to the games, and I love supporting them and the championship, all of that. But it's nothing compared to how it was in the 80s
not
and 90s.
Not even close. Not even close. The guy said something about, Ferragamo mentioned something about ordering the jackets.
Yeah.
Well, in 1975, we got beat by San Fernando, Charles White. They had a great football team. But the next year, I knew, Joe knew, Rocky knew, Ferragamo, I knew we were going to win. We had Freeman McNeil, Joey Montiel. We had some tremendous football players. So then, I don't know, I got something. I said, hey, let's order the jackets. And what do you mean? I mean, we haven't even played the championship game yet. So we have Albion Knitting Mill. That's the guy right here that would make the jackets. He came down. We got fitted for the jackets before we even played the game.
Wow.
And that went on for 5 or 6 years. Order the jackets. Coach, when are we going to order the jackets? We have the guy come down. Sometimes it was 2 weeks prior to. And the guy came in and fitted for the rings and everything. It was great. And talking about the football players, we had guys that played in the Super Bowl. We had Courtney Hall. He played for the Chargers at center. Bob Whitfield played for the Atlanta Falcons. Yes. And then we had Vince Ferragamo was the quarterback in the Super Bowl. But you could start almost a professional football team just with the Banning Carson players.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can name Carson Pookie Hopper. And, I mean, they had tremendous players. Michael Wilson played with Joe Montana, and he won 3 Super Bowls.
Yep.
And then you had Stanley Wilson. Yep. He played in the Super Bowl. And then you had Wesley Walker, who's probably one of the best receivers ever come out of this area. But, I mean, I'm getting chills just thinking about it right now.
I'm right there with you. The nostalgia is great. And that's one of the things I love about being married, sleeping with the enemy.
Right.
Because I married a Colt. And George was class of 1988. And, Friday night Banning Carson games have always been fun in our house. There's always some prank happening. There's always some rivalry. Our kids grew up with it. George and I knew that our kids were not going to go to Banning or Carson because it would just be too contentious in our house.
Right.
We knew that they were going to go to a different high school because it was like we could never agree on if they were going to go to Banning or
Right.
Carson.
Right.
But it's always fun. It's healthy. It's a friendly rivalry. I never felt any type of threat or intimidation. Growing up in DA, there in the 80s, there was a strong prevalence of gang activity. And all of those guys were our friends. We went to school. They created safe passages in our community. They protected us when we were, walking back and front. And even for game day, they were able to set their differences aside and be able to support the home team, which was Banning on one side and Carson on the other side. And I remember talking as an adult. I remember talking to some of those guys because one of those guys, his daughter ended up being my student when I was teaching at Banning. And I pulled him to the side one day and I said, I remember this one instance where, got a little crazy on the streets in the hood. And he's like, you remember that? He's like, please don't tell my daughter.
Right.
Because we grow up. And you're
Right.
an adult, and now you're a parent and you have a daughter in high school. And that was a good time.
And
Good time to grow up.
Banny, you knew there was gang members at that time, right? One gang, this gang. But when we were on that Banning football field,
Yeah.
I never ever felt any tension. We were all brothers and
Same.
everything. We were the same. And there was gangs, violence and everything, but not on that Banning football field.
There were different gang members on the same team.
On the same team.
And they played, so that team united them.
Oh, yeah.
For that.
Oh, the
time.
game.
For
the
that
game.
for
the
that
game.
for that game and everything, there was no tension at all. We were
Yeah.
all, all together.
That's exactly what you just said is exactly what my point is. Like I never felt any type of threat, any fear. I never it was Banning Carson rivalry is very healthy. It's very friendly. It's what a rivalry should be.
Exactly.
It's two opposing schools. The same thing in the Patch. The Patch has, that's another neighborhood in a little bit south in Carson, where half of the neighborhood went to Banning and half went to Carson. And the feeder school there is Carnegie. So half of Carnegie went to Banning and half of Carnegie went to Carson. Same thing with Curtis. Stephen White, the majority of them, because of the geography of Stephen White being so close to Carson, majority of them went to Carson. And then you've got Wilmington Middle School, where most of them went to Banning because of the geography.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that it was very well balanced. And it's really nice. My parents don't live in DA anymore, but it was really nice to have my parents in DA. My best friend still lives on Annalee. I still have all of my childhood friends who all went back and bought their parents' homes in DA, and to just kind of cruise through the neighborhood. And I remember, that was my stomping ground. Those were our streets.
Right.
And I had the blessing of having a similar experience when I went to Dodson, because being in Pedro, half of Dodson went to Pedro, the other half went to Narbonne, right? And
Right.
some of us went to Banning, or some of us went to Carson. But meeting up with a lot of my Rudicinda, Sepulveda, Dodson Junior High School Dolphin classmates on the docks has been great, because I know a lot of folks from Pedro because I went to Dodson, and just because you go to Banning doesn't mean you lose track.
Yeah.
And we were able to keep in touch, and we were able to do things. My sister went to Narbonne. She wanted no part of Banning or Carson. She ended up going to Narbonne, and she had a great experience at Narbonne, and she was able to meet up with a lot of people from Pedro because of that connection. So, it's a great community, the
Great.
South Bay Harbor area. It's a very special place. And we're very fortunate to have the community support that we do here, for our athletic programs and our students. When I was teaching, I really felt the love. I feel like the people who give the most tend to be the people who have the least, and that means more. It means more, because for a family to support a football program, a theater program, a track team, when I was coaching track at Banning, I would have parents come out and provide what little they could to make sure that our students got the cleats they needed, the uniforms they needed, because they wanted that team to succeed. They wanted that pride in the community to be restored. And I was always overwhelmed with folks' generosity, especially when you see it in communities that are disenfranchised. That it just means more. It really does. I'm borrowing the SEC slogan. It just means more. It's okay. I have a kid who played in the SEC.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about that Banning Carson rivalry documentary, because that is
Right.
something that we want to, like, obviously right here. That gotta.
Oh, yeah.
She
knows. She was
She
part of
knows.
it.
She knows.
She knows.
So we definitely want to move forward with that, because
I
you
do.
have a lot of stories.
When I bring Joe and Ferragamo,
Yeah.
it
So, let's look. We'll look forward to that. That's a side project that. So on the Waterfront Plus.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your next event coming up, because it's a longshore event, right?
Sure. Yes. So we have we're in meet and greet season right now in the campaign. My campaign. I had a meet and greet last night on Oregon Avenue, which is 2 streets over from mine in my neighborhood, which is Wrigley, and we had a bunch of folks who I had never met before who showed up at my friend's house, and it was a really successful meet and greet. Our community is very engaged, asking the right questions, asking about representation and leadership and plans. So we've got a series of meet and greets. Last night was Pies and the Pacifica, because it was a Guamanian family that hosted it. I've got Wrigley Women Wine Night coming up in 2 weeks. I've got Cafecito y Conchas. So I've got different little meet and greets that neighbors in different parts of my district are hosting. As far as fundraisers, I've got one more major fundraiser and then a smaller fundraiser happening. But the major one is on Saturday, March 7th. It's in San Pedro, and it's a San Pedro Bay, the port complex. And it's hosted by Diane Middleton, State Senator Laura Richardson, Los Angeles County Supervisor Janice Hahn, Los Angeles Council Member Tim McCosker, and retired Los Angeles Harbor Commissioner Diane Middleton. It's in her home. And Diane Middleton also hosted a fundraiser for me back in 2015. She partnered with then Assembly Member Patrick O'Donnell, then Council Member Joe Buscaino, and they hosted a fundraiser for me when I was launching my College Board campaign. So this time, Diane is hosting a brunch. It's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Everyone is invited. We just ask that you call in your RSVP. Her phone number is on the flyer. We'll post the flyer. So she has enough food, right? We don't want 30 people to show up if she has enough food for 10. We don't want 100 people to show up if she has enough food for 50. So if we have an idea of how many people are coming, we know. I believe, and I hope I'm not making a mistake here. I better not say. She did mention the business that she was having cater. She did tell me who she wanted to cater it, but I don't want to say it, because what if it didn't work out with that business? But there is a local longshore-owned business that is going to provide the brunch that day, so you will be fed, and you'll get to meet some of your elected officials, and you'll get to understand why me serving on the Long Beach City Council is important to the ILWU, because West Long Beach also includes the Port of Long Beach. So not only is it where I live, but it's also where I work, and my husband and I work, and we work. So it is important to our industry to have a labor person, specifically an ILWU member, sitting on that city council to really have an input in the decisions that are being made that will impact our livelihood. So I hope everybody can come out and join us. It is the last major fundraiser of this campaign. I'm 101 days away from Election Day. Ooh, I just got butterflies in my stomach. Election Day is June 2nd, and we're working very hard. I have an incredible campaign team. I've got lawn signs being ordered. They'll be delivered soon. I'm in the process of gathering signatures. I've got a bunch of people. A lot of people are reaching out. I know that the emails are being forwarded. because of the 4,000 people we have on our email list, I get feedback from people who somebody forwarded it to them and they say, hey, how can we help you? Or I just actually late last night, about 2 a.m, I got an email from someone who lives in West Long Beach, who asked if they can host a meet and greet at their house. They want to bring their neighbors together and they want to bring me along. And I don't know who that person is.
Oh, interesting.
So someone
Okay.
forwarded an email to her and her husband, and she said she and her husband are interested in bringing their neighbors over to meet me. And I told her, yes, let's pick a date. My calendar is crazy. Like if you open up my calendar, it's like there are some days where I've got 2 meet and greets. I've got an afternoon and an evening, so I'm going from one place to another. But it's great because we're building the momentum is, it's just, I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. And I think a lot of it has to do with the work that I've already done in my district. I have been in my district, sleeves rolled up for many years. I've volunteered on several boards. Like my kids play sports at the local park, so I served on a lot of those commissions. I was on the Commission of Youth and Children. We founded the first youth forum in the city of Long Beach. We also started the Youth Poet Laureate program. We've partnered with different schools. Through Long Beach City College, I founded my vision when I got on the college board was to have the Labor Center and to be able to have the Labor Center be an actual space for the community to go out and receive training and get information about various labor unions. All of those are initiatives that the community has seen me do for years. They've seen me. I've spoken at events. So they know me, and I do have the majority of the endorsements of elected officials, labor unions, organizations, small businesses. We're going to be rolling out all of our endorsements very soon. It's been an incredible process. And I've learned a lot, but the best part is the people I've met. I thought I knew a lot of people in my district. I mean, I've got 4 kids, right? Between the PTAs and the schools and the sports, you feel like you kind of know. Man, I'm meeting some really good people. I just met a gentleman on my street Monday night. George and I went to his house. I've been knocking on doors. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I'm a hard worker, and I'm not, I've got 5 opponents. In case anybody's wondering, I do have 5 opponents, so I'm working every day like it's election day, and I'm 10 points behind. George and I met a gentleman on Monday night. We were at his house, and I'm like, he lives on my street. He's been on my street for almost 20 years, and he's in a rock band. He's on YouTube. He's Canadian. He's a naturalized American citizen from Canada, and he and his wife have. I met him and his wife, and George and I were like, we have the coolest neighbor right down the street, and we never knew he was there. So now it's like, I'm meeting so many great people, and he was very generous, very supportive. I'm excited, and I hope, by the way, we are having union walk days. We have to coordinate with the presidents of Local 13, Local 63, Local 94, to get the exact date on the calendar, but we will have ILWU walk days and union walk days. So make sure you're wearing your ILWU t-shirt.
We will be there.
If you've never knocked on doors, come out. The very first political campaign that I supported was when Dr. Richard Vladovic was running for school board. He was from San Pedro. His daughter, Kim Vladovic, and I went to Dotson together. And I'll never forget, she called me one day and she's like, hey, Viv, you want to come hang out? And I was like, okay. I thought I was going to her house to hang out. I went to her house to phone bank. I learned how to phone bank. It's very easy. It doesn't take a lot of training. There's a very simple script. And knocking on doors is very easy too. And I think as a union, not just for me, like even if you don't want to walk for me, I think unions should get out in the community and support propositions and knock on doors and other candidates and other measures. It's important for people to see the union support in the community.
Right. Well, you have our support. You know that.
Thank you. Yes, I do. And you've all been great. Thank you.
Yeah, we urge everybody out there, go support Vivian.
Thank
for
you.
sure.
I appreciate it. I'm happy to, thank you for inviting me back.
course.
We can come back and
Thank you for fitting
talk
us in
about
your
other
schedule.
things. No, this is awesome. I love being here and what you're doing, Marina, and sisters and brothers on the waterfront. Look at our, she's a Class B member, but that tenure will end soon, and she'll be a Class A member on the BUTR board.
1 year.
Marina is fantastic. What she's doing voluntarily. She's not getting paid for this. She's doing this of her own accord, of her own time, with her wonderful dad, who, Coach was my teacher in high school. I was his TA in high school. Then we were colleagues together when I started teaching at Banning. He was teaching at Banning. And then we were coworkers together on the waterfront. So this is family for me. And to see Marina and all the things that you're doing as a longshore worker, as a mom, with your education, your background, what you're doing, to elevate the image of a union. And that's what we should all be doing. I think that we have a responsibility to do things that make the union look strong and viable, and to be productive and not be negative, and to build each other up and let people know that the ILWU is a union that cares about its community. We're not just about working on the docks and collecting a paycheck. We care. We care about people. We care about the environment. We care about the sustainability of these jobs. We care about supporting our community. We're not in a silo. ILWU is a family. So I think what you're doing is great with this podcast. Keep it up.
Thank you. Well, I feel like the union members are doing things. We're just bringing it to light. That's how I feel. It's like we're just bringing this to the masses pretty much. So, but people like you, other people in the union are doing lots of great things. I talked to Pete Dever, and we wanted to do a beach cleanup at Cabrillo Beach, and he said, I want the community to know that we care about this community, not we're just making money off of it, but the union wants to go there and do a beach cleanup. So there's people doing things. I just want to help bring it to light. That's the goal, don't you think,
Right.
Dad?
I agree.
Thank you. And if you can't make it on March 7th, and if you can't make it to the union walk days, then the next date that I'm going to give you is June 2nd. It's election day, and we're going to have an election vote watch party. I've already booked the venue. We're going to be at Queens Wharf, Berth 55. We're going to be there at 7 p.m. until we know. And whether I win or lose, if I win, great. If I lose, I lose. If I am forced into a runoff in November, we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate no matter what happens because of all the incredible support, the volunteers, the hard work, all of the generosity, the contributions. So no matter what the outcome is when they flash the results on the screen, we're going to celebrate no matter what. So I hope to see my ILWU sisters and brothers on June 2nd.
Make sure you guys are there.
We'll be there.
Yeah, we will be there.
We will be there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to On the Waterfront with Coach.
And for more content, you can follow us on our Instagram page, On the Waterfront Pod, and you can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
We'd appreciate if you subscribe and follow.
And thank you lastly to our partners at the Arts and Cultural Alliance for letting us use their beautiful building.
Thank you, Uncle Harry.